It is undeniable that Hoyo-Verse is a masterful chef when it comes to cooking with their music, and also hiding lore years ahead before bringing it out on main Archon quests. Hidden lore in artifact sets, in-game books, time-gated events, name cards, or wind glider descriptions, you name it. So last night I was browsing through the new Krai soundtracks Hoyo-Mix released on Spotify and YouTube, and probably elsewhere, and my attention got caught by 3 soundtracks specifically found in Disc 3 that triggered my little Genshin Impact lore enthusiastic brain cell. Let's talk about the complicated one on this video because there is no way they're doing it again, right? The Syntyloitsut of Koitar. There is a lot to say about Koitar, but if you haven't heard of her or need a reminder, here's her summarized story. Koitar was the goddess of the Dawn Star, as well as the first angel of Celestia. Described as the first and fairest daughter of the heavenly principles, she used to reside below Hyperborea with her fellow angels. They were elemental crowns that acted as shackles and served under the command of the heavenly principles to love all humans equally and to guide humanity and the nations of Teyvat. Koitar once met a voyager from afar who questioned the truth of the origins of Teyvat, told her the truth about his own origins, and inquired about the sinful nature of pursuing forbidden knowledge. Listening to him made Koitar's crown shatter off Celestia's strict rule, and for the first time ever letting her feel freedom and love. Thus, Koitar and the Voyager got married, a union witnessed by the 3 Moon Sisters that served both as an act of love and as an act of rebellion against the heavenly principles. Which, of course, did not like that at all.
Anyway, so then I cursed her.
Considering that angels were created to love all humans equally, Koitar essentially broke this rule by falling in love with the Voyager, since she loved him more than the others. This, and Koitar's sin of telling the Voyager the truth about creating life, enraged Celestia into punishing the Golden City of Hyperborea by unleashing a celestial nail onto it and laying it to waste. The couple then was eternally separated from each other, with their memories wiped completely. All angels were cursed into becoming what we know today as the Seelies. And this happened right after artisans in Hyperborea used forbidden methods of creation to forge Fae spirits, before meeting their fate and leaving behind only a few descendants within the Frostmoon science today. You can't blame me for hoping that Krai expands on this story further in the future, right? Anyway, back to the track's name, let's go ahead and break that down too. Synty, meaning birth, is an important concept in Finnish mythology. It can also mean god, creator, or divine power, while Syntyloitsut, meaning birth spell, can also take the meaning of origin charms. Both of these terms provide an explanatory, mythical account of the origin of a phenomenon, material, or species, and they were an important part of traditional Finno-Karelian culture, particularly in healing rituals. These birth spells, or charms, are essentially incantations. They are a body of traditional literature in the Finnic languages with the purpose of affecting magical change on the world. Editor wishes here. Now I had to hop on a call with my Finnish bestie to understand this better, and this is what I gathered. These spells were used in forms of incantations. Essentially, the more elaborate amount of words you use for an incantation, the stronger the spell was. It would be logical to assume that the more knowledge on the matter enabled the use of better spells. Anyone could perform them, but the actual power of these incantations was also determined by the user. Users with natural power to use spells were known as Seers. Everyone could perform spells, but those known as Seers were naturally better at them. They were able to make stronger spells through the knowledge they possessed since birth that would only grow stronger with years. It was possible to be able to distinguish Seers at birth. For example, if a baby was born with fully grown teeth, they were a Seer. Columbina being born looking literally the same as today, I'm keeping my eye on you by the way. Anyways, again, what differentiated Seers from the rest and made them that strong was the knowledge they possessed. This knowledge stemmed from being able to fully grasp and understand the very origins of a spell. Right in A's normal attack name, I'm looking at you too by the way. The concept of birth might reflect the miracle of the incantation, an ideology where the mythical origin of the phenomenon is the biggest knowledge to possess. If I were to give an example that is easy to digest, I can use a common example that can also be explained in medical terms. Remember how I mentioned incantations are commonly used in healing rituals? For example, you might want to cast a spell to wish for better health on someone. If you know the origin of the illness, or essentially the cause, then you possess the knowledge to know how to cure it. Knowledge is in the essence, the birth. What made Seers even more special is that the more knowledge they had about the origin of a phenomenon, the better they could also control the phenomenon. It's interesting to see the connection of this birth and its ties to knowledge to what the Voyager said to Koitar. The name Koitar itself, by the way, also originates from the Finnish language, with Koi meaning dawn. I find it very intriguing that it's so similar to the name of Kuutar. Ku meaning moon, and tar being a common feminine name or title suffix. In Finnish mythology, Kuutar was the goddess of the moon. The way I like to see it is Koitar or dawn being the first light of the day, the first angel, with Kuutar, the moon seen at the end of the day, being the last, or one of the last descendants. After all, we do know that Columbina was born from the frost moon to be the moon goddess of Krai. From the moment of her birth, a bunch of Kuhenki came into existence. Kuhenki resembling Seelies is no way a coincidence. We already know that angels are able to create children that resemble the forms of the Seelies. The goddess of flowers, Sumerus Nabu Malikata, was also an angel who created a bunch of living beings like the genie. Since we're on this topic, allow me to make a tiny deviation from the whole thing here. You must have noticed the Luonnotar in Krai's Archon quest being a more complete form of a typical Kuhenki, right? Luonnotar was also a goddess in Finnish mythology, described as the oldest of women. From my understanding, Luonno means nature. She went by other names as well. One of those names was Kave. Kave is described as one to free the sun and moon so they could shine freely. She saved the moon from the Moon Eater. The Luonnotar are also sometimes depicted as a trio, with Kuutar being one of them. Can you imagine a Luonnotar saving Columbina from Mary's wrath and being revealed to be her predecessor? Yeah, I went down a big rabbit hole. Get it? Rabbit? More money? No? But to backtrack a little, why did Genshin name this track The Birth of Koitar? From what we know, Koitar wasn't murdered but exiled. For all we know, she could have been shrunk in another Guoba all along. You could argue that if she were to return with a new form and new memories, that could be considered a rebirth, and it might foreshadow future Genshin Impact events. But that wouldn't just happen out of nowhere. Unless... I find it very interesting how no matter where we go, we come back to the themes of true knowledge and creation being considered sinful from Celestia. But as Sandrone said, knowledge is a true pillar of Teyvat's world. You didn't think that I forgot about the Powder Fontaine, did you? Because in my next video, we will definitely be discussing another track that got my attention. Will not Krai finally reveal answers regarding the moons, angels, and Seelies' tomb? What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. If you like this video, please consider supporting the channel. I am always really scared to make related videos, but upon seeing the feedback from this one, I will definitely consider making more. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!